can we start with the awkward thing? I mean, I love the film, Speak No Evil, but I feel awkward telling people this, James. I mean, now I'm looking at the fellow who wrote it and directed in it. Like, how can we say, fucked up do you have to be to come up with this story?
Well, I think we live in a world where there's a lot of anxiety, and people are anxious. We're all anxious about how we interact with each other and what to say and self-censoring. And I just love the idea of exploring that within the context of a horror film or a psychological thriller. For me, the best horror movies aren't just the ones about jump scares. They're the ones that are about the anxiousness of the world in which we live, and are relatable in that way. And so for me, it was just a brilliant opportunity to sort of dig into that, cesspit.
It's a credit to you, is what I'm saying. Like, horror is easy, with all due respect, James, but this is inside your head. It's a
Yeah,
psychological thriller more
thank
than a
you.
horror. And
Yeah,
that's what I loved about it. I love those awkward moments when you're in a boardroom meeting and someone says something and everyone's looking at them and all, like, and
yeah,
the best moments of this film, I was just talking to Scoot about it, like those moments between him and James in the car when he's playing a song, which I won't say because it kind of spoils it for everybody. And
yeah,
just
yeah,
there's a subtle look like I was getting slightly turned on, I was getting slightly uncomfortable, I was getting slightly, all of these
yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what was brilliant about this. I mean, of course, there's some unfortunate blood and guts and horrible things that happened, but it really touched all the trigger points in a cinema as well. Like, in a darkened room with people looking around and, going, making ooh ah and all that sort of stuff. Congratulations. Now, I've got to ask about the good part about this movie. Where is this place in Italy?
Oh yeah. It's not actually in Italy.
Oh, well,
So
there's a go.
it's in Istria in Croatia, which actually was owned by the Italians once, and I think they would love to have it back. But the Croatians have got it now. It's just over the border from Venice, and it's beautiful. The hill
And
towns of
then why
Istria.
were the decision to go the English countryside? I mean, I haven't had a lot of time in the English countryside, and sure it's
Yeah.
scary enough, but why there?
Well, you know what? When I first spoke to Blumhouse about making this movie, I said, listen, I want to make it set it in England. They're an American company. They set a lot of films in America. But I'm like, I think I can make this really real and all that kind of cultural mess and stew and subtext and all that if I can write it about a world I know. And the Americans are brilliant at mythologizing the landscape, and their land, New York, whatever. And actually, and so is Ireland. But in England, we're not great at it. And there's not that many films, if you look over the last, whatever, 20, 30 years, that are like British made or mainstream thrillers that have been set there. And I'm like, well, why not? And I'm quite thinking, I want to see the world in which I live inhabited on a movie screen. So that was part of it. And then it was also thinking, by doing that, I can write, I know people like Paddy, that kind of guy in the pub that they're fun to sit next to for 5 minutes, but after about an
I
hour,
was gonna say.
do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, frig. You're trying to move away. Do you know what I mean? We all know those people.
Well, you've
And
answered the next question for me too, James. I mean, was there any strip of this story that was part of your actual experience? And I think you've summed it up there. There's
yeah,
a little bit of all these characters in your life, I
yeah,
feel,
and
James.
you mentioned the boardroom or whatever. It's like, yeah, we were talking as a cast yesterday. It's like if you're in the cinema and somebody's on their mobile phone, do you tell them to shut up? And we were like, well, yeah, maybe, but but oh god, maybe I'll just suffer it. You know what I mean? Because what if they get really aggressive and then it's going to ruin my next 45 minutes? It's really the negotiations of everyday life are fraught with tension, aren't they? Really, and bringing that into the movie is a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of uncomfortable moments, a lot of fun ones, a lot of arousing ones, a lot of feelings, James, a lot of feelings. I
Great.
thank you for all those feelings. Some people won't thank you, but Speak No Evil is a great film. I thank you very much.
Cheers, Ken. I really appreciate it. I'm so pleased.
Nice to meet
Take
you.
care, man. Lovely talking to you.
Cheers.
That was fun.